Good morning. It's 12:26 in the morning. My name's Garrett Veith. I own Veith Land Management with my brother-in-law and business partner Chris. You never hear from Chris. It's always me, because I'm the one you're going to meet unless they move back, and then he's going to get more in depth with client to personnel meeting and quoting. But we don't foresee them moving back to North Carolina anytime soon. So, this is an introduction. This is the start of the channel. This is where we're going. Went out tonight. We were going down to Jacksonville to go pick up a couch for a friend. And I said, hey, let's stop by Best Buy. I'm going to buy a GoPro and a mount and a hard case and some accessories. I spent a lot of money tonight. So, I think it's going to be good for the channel. I think it's going to be good for the page. We want to showcase why it costs the way it does and how we do it, and some of the hardships and some of the wins along the way. 2022 was huge learning for me. I quit my job in December of 2020, put my 2 weeks in. Long story short, I got sick after taking on a role where my team leader was out for 3 weeks. I was a backup. I had been a backup since my other coworker left that position to chase his dreams. And we're hoping to put some of his music on the channel, get him some exposure. So I took on the role. My team leader went out for his son's birth and took a week off for Thanksgiving. And then I got sick at the end of November. Had a severe upper respiratory infection, and the doctor was like, dude, you're stressed. You're falling apart. It's prime flu season, yada, yada, yada. I'm pulling you out of work until Monday. This was Wednesday. So Wednesday night, I text my supervisor. Supervisor's mad at me. No, dude, you got to go get cleared tomorrow morning. You need to be back at work tomorrow. I'm like, dude, I don't think I can. I'm falling apart, man. And texted somebody in HR. HR said, look, go file FMLA. I said, I want to keep this between me and you. And they were like, okay. And I filled out my FMLA paperwork, and they weren't happy about that. And I got some phone calls the next day about it. Well, I also got some phone calls the next day because I put my 2 weeks in. And, are you ignoring me? No, I'm not ignoring you. I'm busy. I'm sick. I'm sitting over here coughing up a lung. What's up? Oh, well, I see you put FMLA in, this, that. Yeah, because it's 3 days. I know the rules. I've been here 7.5 years. I've played the book just like you. So I'm going to play by the rules. And he's like, well, I can't accept your 2 weeks. I said, you're going to have to, because I got somebody that's going to back my company. And December 17th, that was my last day. It was a Friday, and I'll never forget it. And I walked out of there. I gave him my ID, and I was like, this is happening. This is really happening. So we didn't get Wally until January 25th. Almost, a month and some change after I left my job. And it was some BS shipping reason. It was 2 weeks. We bought it on like the 10th of January, and it was like a week and a half before we ever got it shipped in. And, my cutter shows up, and was it my cutter first? Yeah, it was my cutter first, because first 2 hours of owning it, I snapped the couplers on it by shaking the deck, and that was fun. They were $30 a piece. And so already 2 hours of having this machine, I've already broke it. And then the grapple came in like 2 weeks later. There were some logistics issues. It shipped straight from CID. I run a CID cutter. You're going to hear me say that a million times. I believe in their products. They are overbuilt, and I have beat my cutter to hell. I have cut trees it shouldn't be cutting. But I know how to do it. I know how to go in and process a quarter of it or half of it and then work the rest of the material. They are overbuilt. They are priced appropriately for what they can do. I mean, compared to some of these guys that are charging $14,000, $15,000 for a cutter that can do 7 to 10 inches, look at CID's products. Look at some of our videos on Facebook or some of our reels. The 10-inch pine trees we're shredding, it's no joke. So I believe in it. We run a CID cutter, a CID grapple, JCB 270T. We want to buy a mulcher. I want to buy a mulcher so bad because I know that those thicker timber jobs, it would be processed better with a mulcher because of anti-bite and all this other jazz that's incorporated into the mulcher. We want a Lofness mulcher. I want a Lofness mulcher. Cheapest one I found is $26,000. To run that, I also have to have a cooling kit on my machine. My cutter will actually heat soak the machine in the summertime, and I got to shut it down. I'll get the job set at 6 a.m., 11 o'clock in the morning. I'm shutting it down, taking a 3-hour lunch because that thing's got to cool all the way down before I crank it back up again. So we want to get a mulcher. First things first, we do need a cooling kit. And I have an idea of how to build that. So we want to showcase why we run the equipment the way we do and how and what this price point will be at. Tomorrow, today actually, the Bertha and Wally are over at Dad's, and we're going to do some drone shots. We're going to throw the GoPro in and get some live. Hopefully you guys can hear the audio out of it, so you get to understand the sounds and shakes and everything of this machine. And we really want to showcase what a job like this would take. When me and Dad initially walked the property, it was about 3 days of work between mowing a couple paths, widening a couple other ones, and cutting some trees to open up the canopy so we can get a food plot in there. That's another thing we do. Food plots. It's a part of pasture management. We do food plots. I have prescriptions for whitetail, for turkey, for ducks, you name it. I have a prescription. I have a seed list that I recommend. And, we've had nobody bite on that. So that's kind of on the back burner. If we get that one phone call, great. But we primarily focus on clearing land and just the land aspect, not necessarily food plots and stuff like that, because that's a finite market that your average hunter around here, no offense to them, they're not going to put $10,000 for a year, a spring, summer, and fall seeding, and maintaining the shooting lanes and stuff like that. Your average hunting club is not going to spend that kind of money. Maybe somebody from Texas that has 200 or 300 acres and we're going to be bear hunting or we're going to be turkey hunting up here. Cool. I can do this for you. I can manage your stuff. So we want to show this. You're going to see outside of this little box right here, because this is where I'm going to be recording from, and the fan I need to dust. This is it. You're going to see the wins, the losses, the heartaches, the pop lines, the carburetor issues we've had with Bertha, and we just want to showcase that. We think there's an untapped market in ENC, and I know this personally from the last year of doing this. I don't care if you bite off this idea. It's a free market, Welcome to capitalism. Nobody in ENC is doing this. None of my competitors are throwing a drone up. None of my competitors are putting a GoPro on their machine. None of my competitors are bringing this content to you. I see the ads, I see the before and afters, but I never see the in between. And you guys want to see and hear that machine fire up and that machine hit a tree and it spin back up. We want to bring that to you. The 4 guys I love to follow, Upstate Brush Control, they do this. They're in Columbia, South Carolina. They're in that North Carolina, South Carolina border. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on it. I don't know. I do know they service Columbia. Those guys are in South Carolina. I think they do some work in North Carolina. There's another guy in Charlotte that I follow that runs a 325 or a 331G skid steer. I don't know if he's got a 333 or not. I think he's got a 325. Don't quote me on it. Follow him. 5 guys. Him, Upstate. Larson Farms, Millennial Farmer, these guys, the way they bring content to the table. Larson Farms, them boys are just a hoot. And then Millennial Farmer really breaks down how, day to day life is on it and some of his wins and losses. And, I love that his kids are getting into it and his son's getting into it. I'm like, this is killer. This is that generational farming that we need to see. Same thing with Larson Farms. I think his grandfather did it, and now him and his dad run it. And I'm hoping to see more from them. And every time their stuff pops up, I watch it. And then Stanley Dirt Monkey, he breaks down certain projects. He really gets in depth with a lot of the attachments and stuff, and how he uses them and what to look for. So I kind of go to him to shop around, and that's really what kind of turned me over to a Loftus mulcher. And if we can get the clientele this year, we're gonna buy one. There was a guy up the road from my dad, and I'm pretty sure they were either renting it or leasing it, or it's nobody from around here. It's no vehicle that I know. They brought in a Fecon primary mover, which is a standalone chassis, 150 horsepower or something like 200 horsepower, with one of their mulching heads on it, and you could just hear it just tearing through the woods. And I'm like, well, they're overbiting, and they're bogging the machine down, this, that, and the other. And me and Dad went up there and looked at it, and I was like, oh, it's nobody from around here. But nobody in ENC that I know of, that the contractors that I know, either they're big enough to where they don't have to put this kind of content out there and their word of mouth is so great, or they're just not doing it. I mean, it's expensive. I spent $700 tonight on a single GoPro, the accessory kit, the hard case, and some other things. SD card, a big SD card for like 10 hours of footage. That's a lot of money. My drone was $1,100. And so I understand why guys aren't doing that kind of content. But we're going to. And I don't care if it makes you mad. That's a free market for you. So tomorrow we're going over to Dad's, starting that little project. And I think that'll be a good basis to show you guys how we do it and my price point for this job. I don't think I'll give you a number on every job, because some of them we kind of want to be discreet about. And it may be because of the nature of what that client's paying or the nature of that property. So it's a pick and choose what we want to do, but we're going to try to bring you either daily or weekly content. And I really do hope it works out, because I love what I do. I love that I don't wake up having a clock in and clock out, and not everybody can do it, and I understand that. We're in a society where not everybody can do their dream job. Well, it takes a push and a pull and somebody to say, hey man, I'm interested in it, I'm set on it. And for some of your dreams to come true, and not everybody can just quit their job because society would fall apart. But I did. I left my job of 7.5 years. I jumped in the deep end. I dove, and kept on diving. I didn't stop. And real eye-opener when things started to break and I had to fix it. So hopefully this year we're kind of in the positive. And yeah. So look out for the property for my dad's stuff. So we're going to use his stuff as a showcase and a basis of the ideas of the project and how it's going to be laid out. So cool. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm tired. I need a shower. I've been up since 8 a.m. working on stuff. I'm dirty. I'm nasty. And I've been down driving all over. So I'm going to charge the GoPro, charge the drone, and hit the hay. So later.